Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to this video. I know it's been a while since I posted anything, and that's because the last 3 weeks I have been busy, organized a men's tennis tournament. It's not a big one. We only had it only lasted for a couple of hours with 9 participants. But I did do an exhibition match. So that was pretty tiring. And then in the following weeks, I took advantage of the good weather because it is rainy season here, and sometimes we go for days without being able to get on the court and play. I also got busy with work, making chocolates and stuff. So basically today, like right now, I just finished a and a half hour yoga practice for focus and concentration. And I did that because it also rained, and so our time on the court, me and my friends, got canceled for today. So I decided that in the last couple of weeks I wasn't able to do a lot of yoga, so I decided to practice today, and also to help me with my focus and concentration. Which leads me to the point of my video right now. I decided to talk about, because my last video was about the dangers of yoga, possible dangers of yoga if it's not practiced responsibly and according to the needs of the person who's practicing. So now I want to talk about my experience with yoga and my evolution with yoga and yoga's place in my life. So I started yoga at age probably 16 years ago. When I was in high school, and it was a good complement to my cheerleading because I was a cheerleader in high school for 4 years, and it complemented the jumping around and the dancing, the flexibility that I required for cheering, and the gymnastic stunts that came with it. Yoga was great for strength and more focused flexibility, while cheerleading provided obviously the cardio aspect. I'm talking about a wholesome or a well-rounded in terms of well-rounded activity or movement. So that's where yoga was for me at the time. And then when I graduated, I entered university, I got into running and martial arts, capoeira. And yoga was also there once again for strength and flexibility on days that I did not train for my long distance running. I joined local races, not really winning any, but just running the races. And then that fit into capoeira as well. So throughout the years, I've realized that my yoga practice for me is 100% a complement of some other activity, like let's say going to the gym, weightlifting, which is very good for people, especially as we age. Our muscles, if we don't use it, they regress. Our bones get weaker, I think, right? If you don't use it, I mean, muscles get weaker, but bones, I think, if I remember my elementary science, bones, if you don't use them, would also become brittle, probably, or if you don't eat the right nutrition, something like that. But anyway, aging does things to our body, and and through my yoga practice, I can also feel the difference between 16 years old and 16 years later. Obviously, that's one of the things that yoga does for me. I mean, did for me, is that helped me realize that as we age, things change. Our practice also change. Before I lived for fancy poses like headstands, other balancing poses, and really yang performance. But as the years went by, I did a lot of other things like running, capoeira, what else? I did go to the gym. I did weights for strength, and right now in the last year and a half probably, I started playing tennis, and yoga has been there for grounding and more restorative kind of practice. So I realized that if I used yoga as my main yang, I felt like it took away the grounding and relaxing aspect of it. So there was a time that I think there's probably a year that I did only yoga as my main source of movement, exercise. I probably walked some days when I didn't do yoga, but on the whole, that time where I did yoga, like yang on some days and yin on some days, I got burned out with it. So definitely it's not something that I can do on its own. I would get bored, but that's me and my practice. I know my yoga teacher who has been with me, who I've been with since like for 16 years. Yoga is her main thing, but at the same time it's also her job. So I don't think her practice looks the same as my practice, because if she did all her classes 100%, then she would definitely be burned out. And I think there were times that she got burned out. But it's still different for a student who just practices. So right now, like I said, whatever the sport I have at the time, so it's either cheerleading or capoeira or running or tennis or weightlifting, yoga has been there as my grounding source of movement, grounding, concentration, flexibility, and sometimes fun. I still play around with bakasana crow pose or handstands for fun. So it's really, for me, a decompression restorative thing. And I can see like how other people could have it as a 100%, like that is their workout, which is fine. I would say that people who turn away from yoga because they think that it's just too slow, it doesn't give you enough cardio, you don't burn a lot of calories. I mean, definitely, if you want the high intensity thing, you go do something else. But even practicing yoga maybe once a week, twice a week on your off days for restorative purposes, for stretching, is something that I think everyone should actually have in their movement routine. Is what I call it, because if you don't have a sport, or if, I mean, everyone should be moving, and I think it's a waste of opportunity. It means it wasted opportunity for the good benefits of yoga. Or even if you don't want to call it yoga, if you take days off and do a lot of stretching, maybe not the asanas themselves, maybe not maybe you won't call it sun salutation or what, but you do stretches, because stretching is really good. So even if you don't call it yoga, maybe you just stretch. I think everyone could benefit from it. So that is my short rant or video for today. How I utilize the practice of yoga in my life and how it complements all the other sports or things that I do. And I would suggest people to take it up as a practice as well, for off days, or for times where for off season. And heck, even Novak Djokovic, the current greatest of all time, because he has the highest number of slams under his belt for tennis. He does yoga 20 minutes a day, focuses on breathing, focuses on flexibility, and we can see that on the court. He could split. I mean, and as I've learned, tennis is a very mental game. If your head isn't straight, it really, let's say, it fucks up the game, which happened to me last night. I got distracted, something happened, and threw me off during the tie break. So I was down. We were it was a game of 1-4. We were both 3, me and my friend, and then someone approached me and I got distracted, threw me off my game. I lost 2-7 on the tie break, purely because I wasn't able to focus. And I think if I'm able to squeeze in time to do at least maybe 5 minutes, even 10 minutes of stretching, breath work and meditation every day, just to be able to practice concentration and focus, and then eventually bring that into the court, I would be a more effective tennis player, I would think. So I hope with the video, the stuff that I said, if you're thinking about doing yoga, trying yoga, practicing yoga, I highly suggest that you do. And also check out my previous video about why yoga is dangerous, and see how you could incorporate yoga in a healthy way in your life. Thank you for watching this video, and see you in the next one. Bye.